Do you remember the Winnipeg Police Service headquarters construction project and all the controversy surrounding it? It involved city officials, a bribe, and allegations of a conspiracy to defraud taxpayers out of millions of dollars. Well, there's been a new development in the case. You might recall last year, the City of Winnipeg settled its claim with about 40 defendants it alleged defrauded taxpayers in the project to build the police HQ. They were supposed to pay the city $21.5 million. New documents filed in the Manitoba Court of King's Bench show things have changed. Now, only the contractor Caspian Construction, its owner Armic Babakanians, his wife and son, and a number of their companies will be solely responsible for paying the settlement to the city. The Garcia Group was one of 40 defendants. They sent a statement to CBC saying they're pleased the court action is settled and this chapter is closed. They were not asked to contribute to the settlement payment, nor did they. If you aren't totally familiar with the details of this case and why it matters, here's a little background. I've been investigating this story for about a decade, but it actually started 15 years ago, back in 2009, when City Council approved the purchase of Canada Post's old downtown Winnipeg office and warehouse to turn into the new Winnipeg Police HQ. At the time, the project was supposed to cost $135 million. But by the time police officers finally began moving in, it was the summer of 2016, and the price tag of the building had ballooned to $214 million. The construction project was also the subject of a 5-year RCMP fraud investigation called Project Dalton. Now, for 7 months, we fought to get copies of search warrants and production orders in the case. Then we finally did, and here's what we learned. One of the key city officials in charge of signing off on the project was CAO Phil Schiegel. It was discovered that he had helped Armic Babakanian's company Caspian secure the tender to build the police HQ through secret meetings and conversations, like this 2010 email, where Schiegel sends Babakanians a confidential email and says, "Please be careful with it. It's part of my strategy to get this done for you." A court later found that Schiegel had accepted a $327,200 bribe from Babakanians, which he split with the mayor at the time, Sam Cates. The first payment came in 2011. The second was in 2012. The trio had claimed the money was part of a land deal in Arizona. This is what Schiegel and Cates' lawyer told us in 2017 when we first reported the allegations.
We knew all along that the two of them were friends and did deals together. Is that a surprise? I mean, the reality is the allegation that's being made here is vastly more serious than they breached some ethical rules. They're saying they took a bribe. That's offensive and wrong.
We went to Arizona and found that Babakanians paid far more for interest in about an acre of land after the housing crash of 2008 than Cates and Schiegel had paid for the entire 25-acre plot of land during the real estate boom in 2005. The city sued Schiegel, Babakanians, and dozens of others in 2020 in civil court. None of them were charged criminally. Schiegel was found to have engaged in 14 breaches of duty from 2010 to 2012 for providing confidential information to Babakanians, as well as manipulating the tendering process to favor Caspian, and that he accepted a $327,200 bribe. He was ordered to pay the money back, as well as his severance package to the city and damages, which works out to $1.1 million. Back to the latest developments. There is a confidentiality clause in the settlement, which means we will likely never know all the details. This BC lawyer says they can be motivators for defendants to settle lawsuits. He isn't connected to this case, but agreed to give context to help us understand.
And I can see why taxpayers should know what's being done to recoup funds that belong to them. But at the same time, if you want to actually be able to recover those funds in the absence of a lengthy trial, we need to incentivize people to settle.
Manitoba's premier has promised to call a public inquiry into the Winnipeg construction and real estate scandals, which includes the police headquarters project. But ethics professor Neil MacArthur worries the confidentiality clause will impact that inquiry.
I hope the public will learn more if there's an inquiry, but I think it's looking more and more like the city has allowed these defendants to protect themselves in a way that will prevent the public from ever knowing. And I think that's a serious ethical breach on the part of the city.
We emailed and phoned Caspian's lawyers as well as all of the lawyers for the other defendants, but never heard back.